No, thanks for coming. Just real excited to be here. It's always an exciting day when you get to announce your incoming class, and it's been a work in progress for quite a long time. So in our mind, we've had a good idea who's going to be here next year, and it's always a tough one not being able to release names. But it's official today. We got 8 new guys coming in the fall, a result of incredibly hard work by associate head coach Paul Souders. Brandon Moss put in a lot of work, who's not here in the capacity as a coach, still here as a big part of Lobo soccer. I wish I could say our newest addition, Mike Grazik, could help with this recruiting class, but he came in on the tail end and didn't scare anybody off, and I know he's going to bring in some great players down the road, but couldn't be more excited about this group, and they were guys that filled a lot of needs. Most importantly was just the characteristics they have, just quality young men who are going to be tremendous representatives of the university, the city, the state, the athletic program. Just couldn't be happier.
But if you had to put your finger on one thing and said, we have to fill this need, what would it be?
I don't think you have to fill needs per se, in that you're never going to replace somebody, and I think that's something that's easy for people to look for. We had it 2 years ago, Devin Sandoval. Who's going to fill Devin Sandoval's shoes as a big center forward? We didn't have a big center forward. So we have guys that have special qualities. I think they can play in different areas of the field, but they're going to help create, a new identity with next year's team. And we got a great group of returning guys. I think all 8 of the incoming players are going to find roles on the team, whether it be next year, whether it be the following year. We've recruited them to be an instrumental part of our success.
Of the guys that you picked up, do you think any of them will have immediate impact, and what kind of grade would you give this class?
It's a funny question. You hope they don't make an immediate impact, because that means they've beat out some of your returning guys that have put in the effort day in, day out. So, as of right now, our top what do we got? Our top 20 guys are going to be our returning 20 guys. It's up to these incoming guys to beat them out. I think they have the potential to. Very good players, played at a high level. In terms of grading it, that's just a hard one. You got to say it's an A, because every recruiting class you hope's an A. But they're good students, good people. They value what they're coming into in terms of the program and the requirements to be successful here. They're committed, and they're guys that, I'm going to enjoy being around. Our coaching staff's going to be around. I just think it's a special group that is just going to enhance what we've already achieved.
Coach, your thoughts on the 3 local guys that you were able to land. Is that ever an extra emphasis on trying to keep some of the local talent here?
Well, when we go into each, kind of recruiting phase, that's our first priority. Identify, are there local guys that can help our program and that this is a good fit for. There's some local guys that are probably better served going out of state, whether it be for a particular major, they just feel they need to get out of Albuquerque for a while. So that's not to say there's not great players going elsewhere, but the 3 local guys that we have coming in we felt that they were going to make a tremendous, addition to our program. We've known them. We know their characteristics, their qualities. We know their families, and they want to be here, and they want to be Lobos. So that was a great starting point. We have, Justin Hicks, David Gross, and C.J. Slough. Those guys are excited to be here, and a lot of people know them. So it'll be fun to get to continue to watch their careers.
Coach, is there anybody on this class that has outstanding speed and quickness that you had in the past?
Yeah, we had some pretty good athletes. I'd say in terms of attacking guys, Sam Gleedle is a pretty dynamic attacking player. He's got pace, he's good on the ball, a lot of personality. I think he will be very entertaining, dynamic as an attacking player. CJ, local kid, got a lot of athletic ability. We see him more as a defender, but our outside defenders are attacking players, and we think that's a role he can develop into. And the other guys are just good, solid, competitive athletes. Patrick Corey, I think, is probably a little bit on the high end of an athlete. He's quite athletic, but they all have special attributes. Wade Scabilia, I mean, the kid's 6'4", can run, has got soft feet. I think he's a guy in a lot of other areas. He would have been playing basketball. He would have been playing football. He's a pretty special athlete for that big of a kid to move like he does. Matt Dorsey's a big kid, moves really well. They're all pretty athletic. That's something we take kind of pride in our team, that we're going to be athletic, we're going to be tough, we're going to be hard work, and all these guys have those traits.
Even with the hard work put into recruiting, are you finding that you guys are able to get some of these guys that normally would have been hard to get, the more your program continues to prove that it's a national power?
Yeah, to a degree. You got to find the right ones. It's gotten easier. It hasn't gotten easier to beat out the guys you're competing against, which are, those top 10 programs. Everybody's got their niche. They attract certain type of kids, and I think we found guys that fit our system, and they're unique. We talked about athleticism, you talk about size, and then we got some guys like, Gabriel Camara. He's not that big, but he's quick, he's technical, he's intelligent. There's a role for everybody within our system, but first and foremost, they have to be about the team and have the right values and have the quality on the ball.
With Justin Hicks coming in, second generation Lobo, his dad, Jason, what does that mean for the program to be able to have that kind of a legacy like that?
No, I think it's pretty exciting, and I've known Jason for a long time, and Jason was a great player and a great competitor here. He stayed in Albuquerque. And I think it's probably exciting for a lot of people anytime that happens. It's a second generation kid. I guess the scary thing will be when it's second generation kids that I've coached. Then you're old. But no, I think it's great for the program. And it just shows a lot about his family and their athleticism and their commitment. And Justin's a great student as well. So it's exciting.
Coach, can you talk about the dynamic of the MLS academies and how that's changed recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think we have 4 kids coming that are part of MLS programs. Gabriel and Matt Dorsey from Houston Dynamo. Sam Gleadle is playing for Real Salt Lake Academy, and Patrick Corey with FC Dallas. I mean, they're essentially training and playing and being coached by professionals. It's on par with what's going on around the world. And these kids, everything's paid for. It's competitive. They're in an environment where the strong survive. It's challenging for them, but that's what these guys want. So in terms of their ability to come in and play at this level, the commitment, the competition, they're pretty well prepared for it. Yeah.
Could you expect to redshirt any of these kids?
I mean, that's something we'll determine, come August, and it's kind of up to them as well. If some of the guys are in a bit more of a rigorous academic discipline, they're not going to probably graduate in 4 years, and maybe it's an opportunity rather than playing limited minutes. It might be a better thing for them. But that's something you can't say now. I think everybody comes here with the intention of playing, and that's what we want them to have, that attitude.
There's a lot of midfielders and defenders in your class this year, no goalkeeper. Do you feel pretty confident in the goalkeepers coming out with Poplete and keepers? Yeah, I think we have good keepers right now. That's something we're going to still try to find another keeper, to make it a competitive situation. There's still probably be another 1 or 2 players added to this class. But we're real happy with the returning guys. And I think in soccer that, our approach is if you have a very good player who's athletic and intelligent, that they can play a number of positions. And I think the group that we have coming in is fairly versatile in that sense.
Coach, San Pasqual High School here in Escondido, I used to live in Escondido. It's a powerhouse soccer team. And you going into San Diego, North County, we call it North County San Diego, to get this lake, is that quite an accomplishment to get somebody out of that recruiting hotbed in soccer?
You know, we got on him early, probably a little bit under the radar, and then he committed to coming here, and then I think he got a lot more attention after
Yes,
that. And, you know, he was a kid who, you know, stuck to his word. This is where he wanted to be. And that's kind of been a big part of our recruiting. You know, we've gotten some kids every year that are a little bit under the radar, and you wonder what these other schools are doing. You know, we had what, 2 freshmen this year that got kind of all-American accolades from different publications. You know, Chris Wehan and Nico Hansen, and they're both from California. Big-time soccer areas, and somehow they slipped under the radar early. You know, if you remember Blake Smith, who was the 8th pick in the MLS draft, nobody went after him. So, you know, that's kind of been what we've done well, identified guys that fit into our system, and then we have such a belief in our environment that we can develop players that if you bring in guys with the right mindset and the ability that we can help turn them into pretty special players.
You had a lot of freshmen last year that played a number of minutes. Can you kind of talk about maybe how you evaluate players in the early stages to kind of determine what minutes they get that young?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the maturity and experience they've had and balance. I think that's a big part of coming into college, is that it's balance. You don't have your parents telling you to wake up and go to bed and this is what you need to eat. You know, you got to be mature, and it's a transition period into adulthood. And that's the first thing we look for guys that, hey, they're going to be accountable. They have a vision of what they want to achieve. They value academics, and they value community involvement, which is a big part of our program. And we felt that was kind of a real foundation that all these guys have. And you know, through the years, we've made some mistakes. You know, you've taken some risks on some kids. We didn't take any risks this year. These are about as solid of young men that you're going to find anywhere, and you know, I'm excited to work with them. That's for sure.
Any more questions for Fish?
I think I mentioned everybody, didn't I? Did I mention all 8 guys? I mean, you know, to give you a little rundown on the local guys, you know, you talked about Justin David Gross, who played at St. Pius. You know, David's a pretty dynamic, versatile player. I think it's going to be exciting to see where he pops up on the field. I mean, there's no question he can play anywhere, and he can make the transition. CJ, you know, we talked about, pretty dynamic player, athletic, tough. I think he's a guy that's probably really biting at the bit to get at a little higher level of competition. And as far as the academy guys, you know, Dorsey, Kamara, big-time stuff, you know, with Houston Dynamo, they're ready to go. Patrick Corey with FC Dallas, you know, he's played with youth national teams. He's lived and trained in Europe. He'll be very well acclimated to the level. Sam Gleedle, you know, he's playing with an MLS academy. He's ready to go. And we talked about Wade in Southern California, and pretty exciting. You know, you never know until they get here on campus, but it's going to be a good group, and they're going to add to what we have returning, and it's going to be an exciting year next year. All right, thank you.
Cool.